So we're going to make a start. So what's going to happen here, as last week and the week before, is there's going to be a few words said on the nature of the message. And then after that little introduction, we'll have an open space which will last somewhere up to an hour. And in that space, it will be open for questions, suggestions, and there'll be a bit of a response to that. And sometimes there is periods of silence, which is totally welcome. That happens. And in that space, it just is what it is. So, apparently, when a baby is born, all there is nothing and everything. Boundless energy, unconditional freedom, limitlessness, infinite, eternal, and totally incomprehensible. No distinction between anything, just isness, the absolute empty formless, many words. And then it's suggested that after some time, for most human bodies, there is a contraction that takes place within the human body organism. And this contraction is the beginning of I am. And in that contraction is a sense of in here and out there. Duality is born. Subject, objects. Me and you. Body and world. And as the organism of the human body grows up and becomes surrounded by various people who are also experiencing separation, individuality, it grows up living in that simulation, believing itself to be a real self, and all of the other people and circumstances, activities and relationships continuously seem to reinforce and confirm that I amness, that separation. When we go to school, when we go to work, when we go on games, or whatever it is we're doing, we continuously sort of reaffirmed that we are separate. There's a me in here experiencing the world out there. And as the body grows and moves into adolescence and adulthood, choice and free will become solidified concepts that seem to be true for this individual self, moving on a linear path in time with a past, a present and a future. And because of the past, the present and the future, and the sort of apparent moving on a linear path in time, there's also meaning, purpose and intention to one's life. That I'm going somewhere, and hopefully, hope comes in, and So hope comes in, and hopefully one day my life will be better, or I'll be happier, or things will be more whole again when I get there. And obviously this separation, as it seems to be known, is exhausting, it's tiring, it's draining, and it's deeply unsatisfying. And so the body goes, the separate self goes to find that satisfaction, that sense of fulfillment, that sense of wholeness in all kinds of things, substances, relationships, activities, and states of mind. Possessions as well, of course, anything it can find. And for other people, there's a bit of a potential sensitivity that external things don't seem to bring that fulfillment. They perhaps do for a little while, for 5 minutes or an hour or something, but soon, or very, very, not soon at all, that sense of lacking returns. It comes back with a vengeance, seemingly. That dissatisfaction, that sense of separation comes back, and then perhaps it's another substance or another activity, or perhaps there's this sensitivity that there could be something else. There could be the answer to that fulfillment could be found in religion or spirituality or therapy. So the seeker may go to a therapist or a priest, or swamis, yogis, saints, gurus, lots and lots of different people in different traditions, and there's this longing to be whole again, and so that's often called union, entering the kingdom of God, union with the divine, liberation, awakening, enlightenment. Perhaps enlightenment could be the answer to wholeness. Perhaps that could be the object for me, something that I can experience that will make me feel whole again. And the suggestion here, as radical and provocative and uncompromising as it is that search is totally futile. The suggestion is that because as long as there's a sense of self, there's always a sense of separation. There's always going to be duality. And so through the growing up and the conditioning of the body, that individual has turned enlightenment into an object, just like getting the car or getting the perfect job or the house, anything else that turns into an object, it also turns enlightenment into an object. And the search goes on and on. And this message is not prescribing anything or teaching anything or telling anyone to do anything or not do anything, so that's very clear. But what it is saying is that this which is already whole, it's already complete, it's already fulfilled, it's boundless, it never has not been that. But the separation experience seems to keep that veiled, and so the seeker continuously looks for that wholeness somewhere else, or somewhen else, and it never gets it. Because it doesn't know anything other than seeking and separation, it can't possibly comprehend what this liberation thing that is turned into an object is. It doesn't know what that is. All it's ever known since it's contracted is separation and seeking. And then for some bodies, some people, upon hearing the message via another body, or sometimes it's totally spontaneous and sporadic, there is this dropping away of the me. And that is the end of duality, and it's recognized there and then by, it's a recognition in a sense, that this me sense that was apparently living in the body never actually happened. It only seemed to happen. And because that me is illusory and sort of transparent, everything it has sort of used to solidify its sense of self is illusory and transparent as well. So that makes choice, free will, meaning, purpose, intention, and hope all totally, wonderfully futile and not actually real. It's an appearance, but it's not really real. It's not really happening. It seems to be happening for the individual. The individual really, seems to make that real. It's like it's reality, that I definitely do have meaning and purpose and choice and free will, and I'm definitely going to somewhere better than this. That's the dream. That's the dream of separation, seeking, and duality. And upon hearing this message, that apparent me can sometimes, not always, and no one's doing it either way, but upon hearing the message, there can be a sensitivity and a receptivity, which just kind of allows that me energy, that duality, that sense of a me in here to just fade away, and then it's revealed to no one that there's just everything. Always has been, never has not been. Boundless, unconditional freedom. So that's a suggestion, and we can talk about that, or simply sit in that, whatever happens. It's just what's happening. And just one last thing of this intro is that possibly the hardest, or certainly one of the hardest things for the me, not to recognise, maybe not even to accept, but to acknowledge perhaps that this message here is not about knowing, it's not about knowledge. It very much seems like it is, It really does seem like knowledge, like this is imparting something to help someone. It's not that. It's not about knowledge, not about information. It's simply it's energetic. It's purely energetic.